Hello everyone, and thanks for joining me for another fly time video. Today I'm going to be tying a seal's fur sulphur mayfly emerger. In the vise we have a size 14 hook, and this can be tied on a size 16 and of course a size 18 as well. But this is a Sabre 7224 barbless nymph and wet hook, and this has the big point. For our thread, we're going to be using a uni A-dot and a rusty brown. We're going to attach the thread directly behind the eye, and we're going to take the thread down the shank to be in line with where the barb would be if there was a barb on this hook. Keep coming down to roughly this area. Come in and remove the tag. For our tail, we will be using wood duck. I've been asked by my close friend Jay Kelly to go through a description of a wood duck feather on how I use it and how I really decide which of the fibers that I'm going to use for the project. So this, as you can see, is a full wood duck feather with fluff and all. So if I look at this feather and I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to use it, this top portion, as you can see, it's the really darker portion. That's what I'm going to be using for my tailing fibers. And if I were going to create something with legs for which I wanted to use wood duck, I would use these more frayed fibers down towards the bottom. And of course the fluff will always, you're not going to use the fluff, or at least I don't have any use for the fluff. So I have a feather here which has seen some use, and this is that top portion of the feather. I'm going to take some of the fibers, in this case pretty much half of these fibers, and I'm going to pull them out from the stem and try to line those tips up. Once those tips are lined up to my liking, I will grab a hold of all of the fibers, hold the stem, and remove that from the stem. Remove the fibers from the stem. I'll switch hands, and the measurement will be roughly the length of the shank. I'll attach those fibers to the top of the hook shank, and I will work my way up towards the eye of the hook, stopping just shy of the eye. I can hold onto my thread really tightly, grab the fibers, and just rip the fibers away. Lift that tail so I can see what it looks like. Looks okay. For our ribbing, we're going to be using an ultra wire, and that's going to be in brassy and gold. I have some that's already been removed from the spool. I'll take that wire and attach to the shank on my side of the hook, and I'll cover that wire as I'm going down the length of the shank all the way down to that tie-in point of the tail. Once I get there, I can move to the next, which is our abdomen of the fly, and I'm going to be doing roughly 3/4, maybe just a little bit more of the abdomen for this fly. And again, this is an emerger, so what we are trying to represent is one of these mayflies coming out of their shuck, out of their nymphal shuck. And so the rear, in this case, I'm going to be using a fiery brown seal's fur to represent that the shuck, as well as the body of the fly. The seal's fur, if you get to use seal's fur or Seal X or something similar, it's a very rough fiber, so it's not easy to dub. So it really takes two hands to do that, at least for me. Holding the dubbing in my left hand and feeding it to my right as I'm dubbing it on to the actual thread. And once I get a rope that I'm happy with, for seal's fur and similar, you have to tighten it up as you move up the shank, especially if you use a rope something of this length, and you'll see what I'm referring to. So I'll give myself a couple good wraps, and here it's already starting to fray. So before that happens, I'm going to tighten everything up. Every couple turns I'm going to tighten. And by using the seal's fur, the color remains. It stays this color when it's wet. I think I'm okay. Maybe just a tad bit more. Did not use both hands. There we go. That should finish us off well. At this point, we're going to take our wire and we're going to rib. It's okay that everything is you know, we have fibers everywhere at the moment from the seal's fur, but that's okay. We'll take our wire, work our way up the shank. We're going to cross our thread with our wire, put a bend in that wire, and go ahead and cover it up towards the eye, starting just short. And now we can take and just helicopter and remove that wire. I'm going to take some scissors and just trim some of these fibers. Try not to cut my thread. Now we're going to put in a wing, as again this is representing a merger. So we have a wing, and we're going to use 2 CD feathers that are stacked on top of each other to represent that wing. So I've lined those up, put them on top of each other, and now I'm just going to put those back. I'm going to put them a little far. I'll trim this at the end, so just a little past the end of the body, or the end of the hook, I would say. And I'll start my wrap, and I'm just a little bit behind the eye, and I'm going to go backwards. And I'm trying to get to that point where I've stopped the dubbing, that brown dubbing. And I have a little bit left here, but I can trim that at an angle. Take my thread and clean that up. And still give us a nice section to finish when we get there for the head of the fly. At this point, we'll work on our thorax, the front section of the fly, and in this case, we're going to be using seal's fur, but a sunburst yellow. I really like this color, and you can see it well in the water. As a fisherman, and I'm sure that the fish can see it as well. This is a pattern I've had a lot of luck with over the years. Just a little bit more dummy. If I can get it on the thread, we'll see. Come to back right behind the eye. Now at this point we can whip finish. Remove our thread. Now I'm going to come in with a pair of curved scissors, and I'm going to lift all of these CDC fibers up. And I'm going to put them in my finger, and I'm going to cut at an angle down towards the back, or the bend of the hook, the back of the fly, like so. And that's all, folks. That is a seal's fur Sulphur Mayfly merger in a size 14. Trim it up a bit. Hope you like the fly. If you do, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and I look forward to bringing you more flies in the future that I like to fish as well as tie. Thank you.